And I actually texted Shedeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, like whatever happens, wherever you go, like that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199.
Yeah.
So who could speak on it better than me? Like what that really means.
I don't think Shedeur Sanders ever starts a game for the Cleveland Browns. I don't believe he starts a game this year, obviously barring injury, which is the conversation you and I had. And if he doesn't get an opportunity to start a game this year because of injury and show something different than he was able to show this preseason, I don't believe they view him as a franchise builder, a franchise starter.
I know where I kind of want them to go. And let's not forget Shallow, okay? But I know where I want them to go. So there's certain cities that, hey.
Did Tom Brady just let slip the real reason the Cleveland Browns don't trust Shedeur Sanders? See, because the way this whole situation unfolded, his draft slide, Brady's awkward comments, and the way the Browns stacked their QB room, it doesn't feel like a normal rookie story at all. It feels like something shady is going on behind the scenes. Shedeur was hyped as one of the most talked about quarterbacks coming out of college. Everybody thought he was going to be drafted early and shine. But when the draft wrapped up, he shockingly dropped all the way to the 5th round. And when the Browns finally grabbed him, fans thought this was his chance to prove the doubters wrong, except that's not how it played out.
Shedeur Sanders is officially on the roster. Ain't no way in hell he wasn't gonna make it. He also gonna be the 3rd QB. A lot of people mad. I see it as an opportunity. Think about it. Joe Flacco, old ass, he one snap away from retiring. And then you got Deion Gabriel. Yeah, all them motherfucking interceptions he threw in that preseason. I know it's the preseason, but if he can throw it in the preseason, he damn sure can throw it in the regular season. All Shedeur got to do is sit back, watch his team lose, and they realize, oh, damn, we need a hero. We need somebody to come in here and save this fucking franchise. And would you look at that? Shedeur would be starting.
Instead of getting a fair fight for the QB2 job, Shedeur got shoved down to QB3 behind another rookie, Deion Gabriel. And just when people thought it couldn't get worse, the Browns brought in Bailey Zappi for the practice squad, basically sending the message loud and clear. Shedeur wasn't even close to being a priority. That's when fans started connecting the dots and the whispers turned into questions. Why did Brady pause when Shedeur's name came up? Why were NFL execs throwing shade at Deion Sanders before draft night was even over?
I get it.
And how much of Shedeur's NFL spot is really about talent versus his dad pulling strings to make sure one of his sons didn't get left behind? The first place this whole mess shows up crystal clear is in the Browns quarterback room. Going into preseason, the battle for backup looks simple. Shedeur versus Deion Gabriel. 2 rookies, both hyped, both fighting to sit behind Joe Flacco, but the Browns didn't even blink. Gabriel locked up quarterback 2 while Shedeur slid straight to quarterback 3. That was the first major red flag. If the Browns really believe Shedeur had the superstar potential his dad keeps hyping up, there's no way they would have chosen Deion Gabriel over him.
Where do you predict Shedeur and Travis going in the draft?
Top 4.
Ooh, that's pretty beautiful.
Anywhere from 1 through 4. One of them is going to be 1.
That's what I'm talking about.
One of them is going to be
speak it
1.
into existence.
And the latter one would not go behind 4. Now, all this is subjective because I know where I kind of want them to go. And let's not forget Shallow, okay? But I know where I want them to go. So there's certain cities that ain't gonna happen.
Okay, you on point.
It's gonna be it's gonna be an Eli.
In the final preseason game, Coach Kevin Stefanski straight up yanked Shedeur late in the 4th quarter and tossed Tyler Huntley in for the 2-minute drill instead. To fans, it looked less like strategy and more like the Browns flat out didn't want Shedeur to shine. And if that's how they treat him before the season even kicks off, why would anyone think they'll suddenly believe in him when the games actually matter? That's exactly why Tom Brady's comments about Shedeur didn't sound like encouragement. They sounded like a warning.
He shamed all of them, including the Cleveland Browns, who finally took him in the 5th round. I'm convinced only because the owner, the publicity-starved owner, just wanted some more shock value publicity. Oh, we took him because he knew what would happen, that the national media would descend on Browns camp, make it a story that might distract the rest of the world from the mess that Jimmy Haslam has made of the Cleveland Browns, especially after he gave $230 million.
When Brady sat on impulsive and got asked about Shedeur sliding all the way to the 5th round, he froze up. Instead of defending him, instead of gassing him up as underrated, Brady hesitated, stuttered, and went with the safest line possible. I wasn't part of the evaluation process. Come on now, this is Tom Brady we're talking about. He's not just some random retired quarterback. He's part owner of the Raiders. He's close to Shedeur personally. NFL GMs actually listen when he talks about quarterbacks. If anybody could have vouched for Shedeur, it was Brady. And the fact that he didn't, that was loud. Then Brady doubled down, throwing out that use it as motivation speech. He basically hit Shedeur with, day 2 matters more than draft day. I was pick 199, so I know how this feels. But on paper, it sounds inspiring us. But really, it felt like a reality check. Like he was saying, you're not special, kid. Nothing will be handed to you here.
You can't do that. You got to be able to control yourself, especially in that moment. I know the tight end, they was locked up a little bit. He was probably trying to roughhouse him a little bit, but you have to be able to control yourself. You got to be able to control your emotions, especially in moments like that, especially in a game, So, you have no choice. If you throw a punch, if anything, if your arm extends and it touches the other individual, you're going out the game.
And the truth is, Brady's actions already showed exactly where he stands. Raiders GM John Spy even admitted that Tom Brady was impressed with 6th-rounder Cam Miller's throwing ability. Translation, Brady did have a say in which quarterbacks the Raiders were looking at, and they still passed on Shedeur not once, not twice, but 7 different times. So when Brady finally spoke on him, it didn't sound like support at all. It sounded more like a warning. Be glad you even got a jersey. Now prove you belong. And that's where Deion Sanders made everything worse, because the truth is his big mouth might have been the exact reason Shedeur slid so far in the first place. That infamous Dan Patrick interview still haunts the whole conversation. Deion straight up admitted he wouldn't let Shedeur play for certain teams. He even bragged that he'd navigate his son to the right destination. It came off less like a proud dad and more like someone trying to strong-arm the entire NFL before his son had even thrown a single professional pass. But here's the thing, the NFL doesn't forget moves like that. Execs hate being told what to do, especially by someone who isn't even inside their system. So when Deion went public with that kind of talk, insiders say teams immediately cooled on Shedeur. Suddenly, he wasn't just a top prospect anymore. He was baggage, a quarterback with strings attached. Even Skip Bayless called it out and said that was the real turning point. So why did Cleveland finally pull the trigger after passing on Shedeur 6 different times? That's where the theory gets wild. The talk is that Deion had to sweeten the deal, whether it was through favors, leverage, or straight up backroom moves just to make sure Shedeur got drafted at all. And honestly, that lines up perfectly with Deion's track record at Colorado. Everything at Colorado ran through him: transfers, contracts, media spotlight, all of it. He always made sure his kids had the stage, no matter what it took. So is it really far-fetched to think he tried pulling the same playbook in the NFL? Not at all. But here's the catch. The league doesn't play that game. Execs might let you slide something under the table, but at the end of the day, they'll get the last laugh. And the timing couldn't have been worse, because while Shedeur was just fighting to stay on the roster, Deion was already putting out fires with his other son, Shiloh. Shiloh had just been cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after getting ejected for punching another player in their final preseason game. One bad decision, and suddenly his NFL dream was gone before it even started. And Deion knew it.
Hey, just got to talk to you about, NFL is a tough business. Shiloh had, some bad. It's just how have you talked to him and how are his spirits?
Oh, most definitely. He's my son. I'm proud of my kids, all of them, and I prepared my kids for any and everything that could possibly happen in life and in sports. That's part of fathering, that's part of parenting, that's part of having a relationship. So he is mentally where he needs to be, physically where he needs to be. We're praying that he gets another opportunity to go with a team. But if he doesn't, the plans have already been put forward to what he's going to do next. So Shiloh is a man of many talents. I don't know if you guys know, he's a man of many talents, and he's going to be straight. All the Sanders are going to be straight, with or without football. You better believe that. You better believe that. I take care of mine, and I've always have, and y'all know what I mean. You better believe it.
At a Colorado press conference, he tried to play it cool, saying he was praying Shiloh would get another chance somewhere else, but even in his own words, he admitted it might not happen. Then he slipped in a line about how all the Sanders are going to be straight with or without football, but to fans, that didn't sound like confidence. It sounded like a dad saving face, trying to spin a loss into strength, and this is where the real pressure kicks in. One son possibly done with the NFL before his career even starts, and another son free-falling down the draft board. For Deion, who's built his entire public image on being the flashy, in-control father coach, that's not just bad, that's a full-blown crisis, and it only gets worse for Shedeur because fans haven't been pulling punches either. This isn't just people saying, oh, the Browns coach didn't give him a fair chance. Nah, some are straight up saying he never deserved the chance in the first place. And one fan put it blunt, the problem is that if anyone watched a Colorado game, he had a sack issue. He holds onto the ball too long, always trying to make the hero play instead of the smart one. That's been the knock on him for years. Instead of taking the safe throw, he waits for that big highlight moment, and in the NFL, that's not exciting, that's reckless. Another fan went digging in the receipts. I've been saying this since before his draft slide. He went 13-12 with Colorado with Travis Hunter. Bro was never, ever an early round pick. And honestly, that one stings. If you can't dominate with one of the best two-way players in the country on your roster, why would pro teams gamble an early pick on you? Others didn't even bother to be polite. Shedeur should quit football immediately and start a career in politics because with the fans he has, his popularity is louder than his actual game. But then came the comment that cut the deepest. If his name weren't Sanders, he would have been cut. And that ties right back into the whole bribe theory. Fans see it too. To them, Shedeur isn't in the NFL because of raw talent. He's here because Deion made sure he got a spot. And that leaves the league in a sticky situation because now it's not just about Shedeur struggling, it's about Deion's entire image taking the hit. Execs didn't want to reward him for trying to strong-arm the process, and they definitely weren't about to hand Shedeur special treatment just because of his last name. And Tom Brady knew it too. That's why his little use it as motivation line hit so different. He wasn't really lifting Shedeur up, he was laying it down plain. This league doesn't play favorites. If you don't perform, you disappear. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to Public Secrets for more stories they don't want you to know.